Bodacious true crime.
What's up, fandom?
How was your hibernation, guys? Mine felt pretty
yeah,
good.
it was great.
Yeah.
This is hello, everybody. I look away for 5 seconds. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode.
Be another one.
It's
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bodacious True Crime.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Bodacious True Crime.
Hey
We
guys,
just did
welcome
this.
to
We just did
Bodacious.
this.
it literally
It's the same.
like 5 minutes of not even 5.
Well,
no, like
That's how we started
Hey
the last
guys, this is
episode.
Dan
Oh,
TDM.
yeah. Oh.
Hey guys, me, Tommy in it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bodacious True Crime.
Hey guys,
I'm
this is
your
Fan Outstanding video. Today I'm
Host, narrator. I'm gonna kill you. Yo, mom.
My mom's dead.
Oh.
Ball headed ass.
So,
No, she just left.
it's your boy Riley back at it again. Today joining me is the one,
The only.
the only.
No, there's a few of me.
Really?
I was named after my grandfather.
Oh, dude.
They might be
But they're
just
not-
like him, but not quite.
They're not him.
Mm-hmm.
Hassan Wally
Yep.
is here again.
No
Or you said one.
one can fuck like Gaston.
The same as I was an hour ago.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Eunice is here.
Bowsy.
Eunice is here. How are you, Eunice?
I miss my mom.
And then we're here with our special guest
Again.
again.
Yeah. Not so
Jamie
special
Clark.
anymore.
Yeah. No. Jimmy Clark.
Hi.
Mhm.
How do you anyways.
Yeah? Fucking spit it out,
Yeah, let's
buddy.
just move on. Let's just move
No,
on.
I did that on purpose. Or did I?
Oh. Keeps it. Ah! One day in chill, baby.
Anyways, we're back with John Wayne Gacy Part 2, the conclusion
Yep.
to the epic saga.
It's not a saga, it's only two.
It's a two-parter, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck is wrong with you?
Shut
Welcome
up.
back to
man.
our John Gacy Let's Play.
Alright.
It's not even like the conclusion. We're getting to the actual meat of the
Oh,
story.
yeah.
the
No,
good
this
stuff.
is the end.
Yeah.
This is the last episode of Bodacious True.
Oh, ever.
Okay.
Nah, we gotta get to at least 100 before we can stop. Grind isn't stop.
On the very final episode, you're gonna be doing Mothman. You gotta find him.
I'll go look for him. Anyways, let's get into the meat and the bones. Are you guys excited?
Mm-hmm.
We're
Yeah.
actually getting into the meat and the bones.
The
This
good
episode.
stuff?
Yeah.
We're not gonna learn about his gay family life and how he's a ninny boy.
And how he's a sissy.
No, you have to watch the first episode.
Yeah,
for that
you have to go back.
Jamie.
You probably want to watch the first episode.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
episode is sponsored by Chick-fil-A.
No,
Warning!
it's not.
This is part 2. If you missed part 1, go back, watch part 1, come find us after.
Actually, no.
Fuck
it.
you,
If
watch
missed,
it.
If you missed part 1 and I have the audacity to click on a video that said part 2, kill yourself. You mean nothing in life.
Yeah.
You are all the fans that follow you. Fuck you.
Hey, you heard him.
I like you guys.
I like you. Yeah, I like the fans.
John Wacey's puckering asshole accepting tickets.
We're gonna get so much support, guys.
Dick
Yeah.
Blair.
Hey guys, look at this. This is the episode that blows up.
I can't wait to see who the fuck is gonna be your first sponsor.
That'd be hilarious.
G-subs.
Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by Adam and Eve. Alright, today we're going to talk about the guy who raped and murdered 30 people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we are talking about a guy who raped and murdered 30 people.
31.
Yeah.
33.
33.
Yeah.
Gadzoo.
So yeah, last episode we left off where John Wayne Gacy murdered 16-year-old Timothy Jack McCoy in his home. He was literally making him breakfast when he stabbed him.
With the knife the kid was holding.
With the knife the kid was holding.
Yeah.
Making
At
a,
the
a
doorway.
delicious breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Bacon
Mr.
and eggs.
Mr. Gacy.
He was doing that. And so Gacy came in his pants. He had literally, he said, a mind-numbing orgasm from murdering that kid.
You think he closes his eyes when he comes?
No. Do you?
He's the kind of person to look you in the eyes.
I feel like
Every
he's
time?
a visual guy. Yeah.
Do you close your eyes every time you come, Eunice?
I've never closed my eyes when I've come, except for like one time I woke up like at 2 a.m. I'm like, fuck, let me beat it. And like I didn't even open my eyes.
So this isn't TMI?
I feel like Gacy is like the kind of guy
No?
that makes out with someone but like looks at him while he's doing it.
Oof.
Wide eyes, yeah. He's like,
I mean, I've done that a few times, but I'm like also like watching what's on the TV.
That's your first time.
ain't no way she bid 300 for that storage unit.
Basically, some of these murders, they don't really go into a lot of detail, but I will tell you right now, once Gacy starts like going again, like once he links murder to like sexual pleasure, he's like, oh shit, and then he starts fucking going.
Yeah.
Now, Gacy's MO is to strangle people, not stab them, but to strangle people, and then the thing that gives him pleasure is the actual strangulation. We would call him a process killer because he enjoys the process of killing, and afterwards he just fucking buries them in his under his house.
Mm-hmm.
One time he did it somewhere else, but it was still on the premises of his property. Well, Gacy would stuff rags and cloths in their mouths because he would be worried. We'll talk about this later. He's worried about the smell escaping. Like a lot of serial killers, Gacy waits 2 years to kill again.
Two whole fucking years.
Yep.
He was edging the whole time.
Yeah.
Wait,
Ga-
what?
Well, no, not the whole time. A lot of serial killers take.
He was edging?
No, he wasn't edging.
You're the one who said it. Why are you
I
surprised?
said he was edging for 2 years.
No,
and
he
Riley said
wasn't.
yeah.
Taking
Yeah,
a
'cause
vacation
it was
after his first kill.
Yeah, well, he still got he's still married, and his wife had a previous marriage, like a child from a previous marriage. So, Gacy, but he kills in his own home, so he's not killing anybody yet. Well, in 1974, Gacy killed his second victim. So, like I said, 2 years after. This man is still unidentified, but it was the same MO of Gacy luring him back to his house. Gacy has a certain trick he likes to play, which we'll get to later, and so he'd just strangle them, and that would make him come, and then he buries them, and then he just fucking throws them in the crawl space. Also, in 1975 is when his next murder is, but because Gacy is involved in community, helping the community out and stuff, and fundraising and the Democratic Party, Gacy gets involved with the community and starts dressing up as a clown in 75. Yep, 1975 is when he creates his persona, Pogo the Clown.
Pogo.
Apparently, there was another one called Patches, but they look the same.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Yeah.
There's two of them.
Yeah,
Patches
so
the pirate.
Pogo and Patches the Clown, he would go to hospitals and perform for children.
Did he go to clown college?
No, but he
Is
also
he certified?
He didn't go to much
GED?
college,
No.
bro.
He got his GED in prison. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he didn't even get paid for this. He would go to children's birthday parties too to perform. This is why Gacy is known as the Clown Killer, or the Killer Clown. Although, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't actually kill anyone as the clown. That was just a thing tacked on with his
Yeah.
persona.
Did he do the clown thing because he wanted to be around little kids, or what are the odds? Maybe he just actually had passion for it. What if he just actually had fun being a clown? He's like, you know what, this is my calling.
I don't.
And I'm a murderer.
It could be because he wanted to be around kids, but he didn't get it. If that's not why, it was maybe just to blend in with the community and come across as like when he was in the JCs, he was trusted and commanded people's respect.
Family Guy actually made a joke about this. So they're walking through Vietnam. He's like, they're looking for soldiers. This is what's going
You
on.
guys are idiots.
You
See,
guys-
they're gonna be looking for soldiers.
Oh yeah, he was just dressed in plain clothing, right?
No, he was dressed as a
clown.
clown.
Oh, was he?
He was like, they're gonna be looking for soldiers.
Well, I just find it so funny. He's just a murderer, but he actually just has a passion for being a
I
child
think it was just a
entertainer.
community. I think it was just a political, just like a stunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just
it
to
was.
make him look good.
Maybe he liked being around children. I mean, you don't know if boys are going to be there. Maybe he liked being around children, but I think it was mostly.
He shows up at the little girl's birthday party. Man, get me out of here.
I'm
Fuck
leaving.
this.
I can't. I
But
gotta go.
I think it was just to establish more credibility in his community, because he lost all of it when he was in Iowa.
I thought your kid's name was Sam. Yeah, it's short for Samantha. You couldn't have told me that.
Why didn't I know? Well, on July 31st, 1975, Gacy murders his third victim, John Butkovich.
God fucking damn it.
Yeah,
We're back to the name.
That's why I went.
Was he Jewish?
I don't know.
With the
No, his
last
last
name
name
with
would be
H.
Goldberg.
Butkovich.
Butkovich?
It sounds German, I'm not gonna lie. So, anything
No,
with
no,
fish
I don't
in
think
it,
it's
I just
German.
think German.
Well,
I mean, his family was in Germany, but
this is where Gacy. This is the first case that we know of Gacy's famous handcuff trick. Yeah, Gacy would lure young boys.
sneak behind you and fuck it.
No. he lures young boys to his house, and like they start drinking, they're partying, you know, kind of like what he's done before.
Watch a stag film.
Watching stag sometimes.
Alright.
I don't know if he still did that at this point.
That's his private collection. You don't want nobody see it no more.
Yeah. Gacy would lure these men, and he'd say, "Hey, I got a trick to show you." So he puts on handcuffs, and he'd say, I can get out of these." And he'd get out of the handcuffs, and he'd be like, "Do you want to try?" And so the unsuspecting victim, who Gacy's about to fucking kill,
Oh yeah, put the handcuffs on me. I'm an untrained person
he
who doesn't know how
puts
to do
the
this.
handcuffs on.
To be fair, I think he would have gotten me. Because if someone, I can't, like, if I'm in the mall, and like
Really?
there's like a showman there, he's like, alright, I'm gonna escape these handcuffs. He's like, alright, now I need a volunteer. Alright, now I need you to try to get out of these handcuffs. My dumbass would probably go, like, I wanna try.
No,
He
this is
did
at
it.
his house. This is after he's already lured them to his
Yeah,
house.
I feel like at the house, instead, if he's like in a mall, like, hey,
So-
fuck yes.
I think we found his audience.
So Gacy, yeah.
I would have gotten killed.
Hey, you're 34. Hey, you're handsome.
39 berries.
You're
Zero
around.
found.
You're
No,
I
we were
was
found.
honestly.
no, in the neighborhood I grew up in, I would have been raped and kidnapped so often had it been a bad neighborhood. Because the only times I went to people's houses, because my grandparents are friends with these people, but I didn't really know them. They're like, Eunice, come in and just made some cookies. I'm like, okay. I just walk straight there. I don't tell my grandparents. Just walk straight.
I was
there.
gonna say, if Eunice was there, like he might have been. Maybe now he's too young, or sorry, too old. Like
yeah,
he's
now
not.
I
Gacy's
know.
type.
Like, plus now everyone has a
Ollie.
Plus nowadays, like everyone, Riley.
Oh, okay,
I
that's
also want to
fine.
add.
Whatever
Plus
that was.
nowadays, it's different. Everyone, like even 11-year-olds have cell phones.
Yeah.
And they're like, they'll just send a text to their mom, "Hey, I'm going into Mr. Jenkins' house
Yeah.
for a snack."
Well, the handcuff trick
First of all,
was.
who the fuck is named Jenkins?
So the handcuff trick was he puts the handcuffs on them, and they can't get out.
Uh-huh.
The trick was he'd say, "You want to know what the trick is? You gotta have the key."
Yeah.
So Gacy would unlock the handcuff. That's how he got out. Once they were literally fucking unable to do anything, he just strangled them.
Once they handcuff themselves.
Yeah. He did that for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
The slash lady.
So Gacy did this to Butkovich. He does this to Butkovich. He's dead. However, Gacy couldn't bury him in his crawl space because his wife and stepdaughter returned home earlier than expected. So he buried him under his garage. Yeah.
How?
He had
He
more
dug
time
up the
to dig
garage.
a
He left the
hole.
body in the garage and fucking. I just saw Eunice's hair.
Well,
Hey,
He left the body in his garage and just dug up the fucking cement floor from the
he
garage.
had more time to do that than to just move the body.
For some, I don't know why he did it. Now, like I said before, Gacy and his wife do not have a good relationship.
I thought they divorced.
Not yet.
The first one.
This is 1974, and they get married, or they. This
they
is
get divorced in 75.
Yeah.
this is
I thought we
mid
were past
1970.
that.
Yeah, this is mid 1975, and they get divorced in 1975. They, like I said, they had a dead bedroom, but they stayed together until it reached a boiling point where they couldn't.
A dead bedroom.
Wait, you said.
I get it.
So you said.
Probably
I'm sorry.
burned the mattress.
It's just me being stupid right now. You
Yeah.
said his wife and her daughter.
Yeah,
I
stepdaughter.
thought. Stepdaughter.
Yeah, that's what I said. Stepdaughter.
Okay, I thought because I remember you said like he didn't have any more.
He didn't have any.
kids.
He didn't have any more kids, but I said last episode she had some from a previous
Yeah,
marriage.
I think I zoned out for that.
That's
My
okay.
bad.
Basically, they stayed together with each other until they couldn't stand each other, and the thing that got them divorced was finances.
You're
Yeah.
fucking with me.
Yep. Well, that's the official reason.
That's
But like I said,
document.
like I said before, they had a dead bedroom. That is a funny little pun,
Hey.
Jim. You're right.
His penis doesn't work.
Not for
around
women.
her.
Not for women. So
He's bisexual though. Remember?
Yeah.
So once Gacy's wife moves out, he has absolutely no reason to not lure men into the house and kill them.
Oh, he got the house.
Yeah, he got the house.
That's a W, boys.
So literally, once his fucking wife leaves, boom, he's fucking off.
Mm-hmm.
1 month later, after the divorce was finalized, Gacy kills 18-year-old Daryl Sampson in April of 1976.
Hey, he's
This
going.
is
That's
the
not
next
pedophilia,
year.
He's moving up.
Yeah, doesn't get better. And he buries him underneath his dining room. Yep.
How
he-
quaint.
To like go back on what Eunice just said, 5 weeks later, on May 14th, Gacy abducted 15-year-old Randall Raffet,
Raphael.
and
He was actually a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
In this,
Splinter shows up. Have you seen my son?
he also abducted 14-year-old Samuel Stapleton.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they believe that he abducted them at the same time because these two were close friends and they were buried basically on top of each other in the crawl space.
Dog pile.
Does that mean he was like watching them to know that they were good friends?
He might have just picked them. He didn't know they were good friends, but investigators know they were good friends.
They're probably just buddy hanging out, and he was like a 2-for-1.
That's exactly what I was about to say. He probably just saw them and was like, "Hey, y'all want to come to my house and drink?" And they were like, "Yes, Mr. Random Man we don't know. Let's go watch porn and drink." And then they got fucked. Well,
No, he didn't fuck.
he didn't fuck them. He
They got fucked.
Yeah.
Hunter,
A little
unfortunately.
tangent. Who was that guy that came out of Wisconsin? I always forget his name.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
The cheese.
I think we
killer?
did our first episode on him.
The cheese.
Oh,
head?
Dahmer.
Dahmer.
Was
Jeffrey
it-
Dahmer. My friend, she lives in Wisconsin. Her dad went to like a party in an apartment like 2 doors next to him. Yeah,
Wow.
and they found
The
out like
Son of
like years
Sam?
after.
That's fucking
It
crazy.
was
Son of
hilarious.
Sam wasn't Wisconsin. It was New York.
Oh no, because I heard.
And like
part-
apparently like he fit the profile, so like he got really
Jesus.
lucky.
On June 3rd, 1976, Gacy killed 17-year-old Michael Bonin.
Michael Bay.
He abducted him, strangled him, and then buried him in his guest bedroom, underneath his guest bedroom, not in his.
Like in the floorboards.
No, he goes the crawl space, and then he just fucking goes.
Oh,
over.
he just maps it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, he drew a map.
It's like a little. It's like
He made a treasure hunt.
It's like a little museum. If you go by the kitchen table, you'll find Brittany Rose.
Hey, wait until the end, because he does that.
What the fuck is my life?
So, on June 13th.
Did he call him dead drops?
Raindrop.
That's a good one.
Drop top.
On June 13th, Gacy murdered 16-year-old William Carroll, and he just fucking like threw him in the crawl space.
Just hocked him.
Yeah.
Hocked him.
Pretty much. August 5th. This is still 1976.
What's this House of 1,000 Corpses?
Yeah, like I said, he's fucking off. 16-year-old
This
James.
is like Berserker mode, isn't it?
It is
I
basically,
love Berserk.
but it's like Gacy's whole career is Berserker mode.
Because he just doesn't get stopped.
He doesn't, and he only takes like his longest break after he started like really murdering was like a year.
Oh, you say that 2-year period?
That 2-year period, and then he took another year break after the third murder,
He got tired.
or after the second. But then after the third, it was like he just waited for his wife to divorce him, and then they fucking
Just
went
went sicko
off.
mode.
Yeah, he did go sicko mode.
Quirked up white boy goaded with the sauce murdering children.
On August 5th, 16-year-old James Hackinson was heard from. He was last heard from on the phone somewhere from his family, like he was calling his family, possibly in Gacy's home, although we don't know. And he died of suffocation and was buried in the crawl space. Similar to the two boys, he was found buried underneath the body of 17-year-old Rick Johnson,
Ricky J.
who was last seen alive the next day. So he probably waited to bury them both. Like he fucking took one, buried him, and then fucking took the other one and put him on top. He's also, Gacy has many unidentified victims, so they think that there was 2 unidentified murderers next. What we do know is that on August 24th, Gacy abducted 2 boys, Kenneth Parker and Michael Marino, and they were last seen outside of a Chicago restaurant on Clark Street.
Waffle House.
Yep, so he kills 2 unidentified victims between October and August. Or August and October, rather. But then, literally 2 days later, Gacy lured and strangled 19-year-old William Bundy. He actually worked for Gacy. And keep in mind, this entire time he is still fucking his, workers.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I figured out which serial killer had an experience with Gacy.
Who was it?
Brian Dugan.
Really?
Yeah, he much like Gacy was raping and killing.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did he meet him?
It was in, pardon me, it was in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe he was already, was it in prison or like in,
No, he was a kid when this happened.
wow.
Yeah, so that's why they think, like, I dare say he was the one where he just wasn't scared, he just kind of went with it, and then Gacy was like, I'm bored, I don't want to do this, because he liked the fight, you know?
yeah.
The thrill of a hump.
But
The most dangerous game.
That is what got him off.
Pussy.
Gacy buried,
The most dangerous game.
The most dangerous game, it's not humans, it's pussy.
Gacy buries Bundy underneath his master bedroom.
The masturbation.
You would think
the masturbation station.
you think his instincts would kick in, but I guess not.
Man, how many permits is he getting to dig in his house?
He's got to
He
go to
doesn't
City
need
Hall.
permits for the crawl space.
He needs to contact City Hall. Hey, I got more
another
treasure.
project I'm working
Hey,
on.
I got a lot of projects going on in my house. Can I get a permit?
Can you just give me like 20 for the year?
Sometime in November, we don't really know when, Gacy murders. This is in November of 1976. Gacy murdered 21-year-old Francis Alexander. He buried him underneath his office.
You know, I completely forgot. Gacy is still owning and managing a construction company.
Yeah, he
through
like
all
I
of this.
like I just said, he not only was he still like fucking his
Yeah.
employees, he fucking that guy was his fucking employee.
Does that mean like he like go to the work site? He's like, hey guys, I gotta borrow another shovel tonight.
No, I mean he probably had that stuff on his property if he was able to dig into his backyard.
Hey,
or his,
where's that?
Where'd the 13 jackhammers and like all the shovels go?
He's like,
you
I
know.
have no idea. This
Gacy's
is
like
you.
ordering new equipment for like personal use. He's like, why do you need a jackhammer
Why do you
for
need
your
a bulldozer?
Yeah, I was gonna say, why do you need a fucking crane? Don't
He's
worry
like,
about it.
Hey, I employ you.
I'm building a monument.
Hey, who employs who? Now shut your mouth.
And suck my dick.
Suck my dick. Redeem your coins.
You just lost 2 good noodle stores. You can earn them back by the end of the day with 3 hand jobs and 2 fingers in my ass.
Please, Mr. Gacy, I need this. I need
I
a
need to
promotion.
save up
How
my
badly do you
tickets
need
for
it?
the basketball.
How badly do you want this promotion, son?
It's like I still imagine it's like a Chuck E. Cheese counter and like the basketballs are in the shape of his nuts.
Anthony,
I want. Come over here.
come over and suck on these tits.
Come over here. Work on these.
Oh yeah. So
I
want that
it,
big dick of yours.
and I
Here's
want it.
somewhere I want you to put
I
it.
want it here.
That isn't a
You want me to
sandwich.
fuck you?
Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah, take off
No.
your
Where it's
clothes.
like some guy put his dick in a sandwich and was giving it to
You
a
talking
girl.
about Sonic jerking off with the McChicken? Yeah, I've seen that video.
Look at
He
you.
put his dick in a sandwich and like gave it to a girl. He's like walking with it, right? He like lays it on the table. She's like, "That's not a normal sandwich."
You seen the one with the pumpkin
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
or the bot? Like,
Who
any-
hasn't, bro?
You seen the
Yeah.
Reddit thread talking about like what's the most sexual encounter you ever had? It was like jerked my boyfriend off with pumpkin guts. He loved it.
What the?
I was like, oh.
Wait,
Speaking of that, Gus,
No.
you want to come over and carve pumpkins?
Oh yeah, man.
stop.
Sweet.
What do you mean? Like she like grabbed a handful
Yeah, she-
and put it on his cock. She was like using
That
it
smell.
as lube. Oh yeah, his dick smelled like pumpkin for a
So-
week.
In December of 1976,
It smells like pumpkin
Gacy
pie.
killed another employee.
Hmm.
I hate you, Enos.
It's like a hot summer day. Hey, do you guys smell pumpkin pie? He starts sweating. Like, what?
What?
It's mixed with the schmeck.
No. I was like,
No.
So
unless you want.
in December of 1976, Gacy killed another one of his employees. 17-year-old Gregory Godzik went missing after driving home from his girlfriend's house. Yeah, he dropped her off. He was taking her on a date.
Did they have sex? Does it say anywhere in your notes about that? I need to know.
Did she give him the Guagua 3000?
Did she
The
reach
No,
climax?
they did not. Gregory Godzik had only worked for Gacy for 3 weeks, and then he disappeared. Godzik's family reached out to Gacy and was like, where is he? Because you were the last one to see him. I believe Godzik went to Gacy's house to negotiate a raise, but he had told his family he was going to see him. And Gacy said he ran away. And he had talked about running away for a few weeks, even though they had only known each other for 3 weeks. Gacy claimed he left a message on the answering machine after he left his house, telling him that he was going to run away. But when the family asked, hey, can you play it for us because we want to hear it because that sounds like bullshit, Gacy said he deleted it, and he can't show it to you. So,
How convenient.
yeah, very convenient.
Would you like to see this map I made?
Anyway, admission's $5 for my museum.
Would you like some tokens?
You want to see his trick?
Hey, you want to see this really cool handcuff trick, by the way?
Hey guys.
He shows up to the court with the handcuffs. You guys want to see that trick?
So, in 1977, well, now it's 1977. That was in December. On January 20th, 1977, Gacy lures 19-year-old John Sykes to his house under the pretext of buying Gacy's car, which was a Plymouth Satellite. Gacy then strangled Sykes in his guest bedroom and sold
Tuck them in for the night. Gave him a little kiss. Good night, sweet prince.
He ended up selling this car for $300, which is $1,500 in today's money, or almost.
Do you have the reverse spoiler on it?
Turbo on it.
Fucking one we
Oh
saw.
my god.
That was so
Yeah.
funny.
Takes flight.
All right, can I explain this real quick?
Yeah.
So we were cruising down yesterday, right?
After our Valley View
Yeah.
extravaganza.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
That was awesome.
And we found this Dodge Dart, right? With a spoiler on it. It had a huge, I think it was like a GT spoiler. It was massive.
Yeah.
So I was looking at it, giving it more attention because, like, why the hell would you put a spoiler on a Dodge Dart?
Yeah.
Looking closer,
your transmission's gonna blow before you get that.
I
fast.
realized the spoiler was pointing downwards towards the end of the car.
It would gain altitude should it get up to it.
So I realized they put not only did they put a giant spoiler on a Dodge Dart,
They
they
put it
put
on
it
roll.
on backwards.
Keep in mind, a Dodge
No.
Dart is a V4.
Also, just want to say, Gus, you reminded me of something that you were there for. We went to a Dairy Queen like a few months ago,
Yeah.
and I don't remember that. It was a Nissan something in the parking lot.
Mm.
No, it was me, Adam, Aya, and Bezo.
Oh, it was when you guys went to fucking Dairy Queen at Ollie's place, like
Yeah.
that hangout. Yeah.
So we saw a nice Nissan there. I think it was a Nissan Altima that was like fully modded out. It looked really nice. And Adam and me saw it, and he was like, "Damn, I wonder whose car that is. I want to tell him it's really nice." I'm like, "Oh, it's probably inside the Dairy Queen, the Dairy Queen parking lot." He's like, "Yeah, but I don't know." So I'm like, so I go inside on his behalf to tell whoever owns the car it's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So and there's only one guy in line, and I saw he came in like a pickup truck.
Yeah.
So I asked the worker, like, "Hey, does anyone that works here own that Nissan?" She's like, "Oh, I don't think so." Then the guy goes, "Why do you want to know?" I'm like, "Oh, I just want to tell him it's a nice car." He goes, "You think that's a nice car?" I'm like, "Dog, you're driving a 2012 like rusted out Ram. Dog, why are you like talking shit about this guy's car?
Hey.
You know what he has in his garage?
Why won't you drive it? Don't
It's a
talk."
collector's car, bro.
Hey,
You're gonna have $100,000
Okay,
car.
but
Like
what-
you put
okay,
everything
but-
into
okay,
it.
okay,
It's
here-
it's a
here's
it's
the
like
main
a
thing.
classic
Okay,
car.
here's the main
You're gonna
thing.
drive it to a
If
Dairy
I'm coming
Queen.
to Riley and I'm like, "Oh, that's a nice car," and I don't know you, are you gonna be like, "That's not a nice car"? Just jump.
He's got opinions.
The
man.
2019 Chevy Trash. Check this out.
He's got opinions, man.
That I didn't ask for.
My 2012
Well.
Ford Explorer.
He don't care.
I have an Escape, and it is a 2012. Happy trash. Good for you.
The Charger.
I mean, my phone's full, but thanks.
I'm gonna slip.
Dude. Fuck. I wanna fuck
Funny
you.
thing is, Gus.
And bury you beneath my house.
So on March 15th, 1977, John Prestige, I think it was his name, was last seen leaving a Chicago restaurant, north side of Chicago.
Mm.
Like I said, found in Gacy's crawl space. July 5th,
His garden must have been popping off with all those nutrients in the soil.
yeah. No, it's just under his house. You think it would spread?
He has a beautiful wildlife preserve underneath his house.
Some extinct species were found under there.
Dodos.
On July 5th, Gacy murdered 19-year-old Matthew Bowman.
So maybe Eunice isn't old, too old.
Yeah, no, he's just barely. His oldest, I think, is 20.
Yeah, I was gonna
Older.
say, wasn't that his last
Yeah.
kill?
How old are you?
I'm 19.
No,
When
his
did
last
it
kill was
came out?
15.
June 26th.
I'm the second oldest one here.
Second oldest.
Who's the
What
oldest?
difference does it make? We're
Oh
all
yeah,
19.
you're right.
I'm the oldest?
Wait, you're not the
No, wait, I turned 20
you're not the
this
second
year.
oldest.
Yeah, no, you're the oldest.
Oh, yeah,
you
you're-
dick
You
nut.
just turned 19 in June, right?
Yeah.
So you're the youngest.
Yeah.
I completely forgot. The reason I know Jamie is because I failed economics and had to retake the class with
You
him.
failed
Yeah.
econ?
Yeah, it was this. I had a shitty teacher. I got a perfect score in the retake class.
On July 5th, Gacy murdered 19-year-old Matthew Bowman. He was actually on his way to he was on his way to court to pay an unpaid parking ticket. He never paid it though.
What a
That's
bastard.
That's why it's unpaid.
Yeah. Well, no, it was unpaid before, and it will remain unpaid.
You think that's why he got sent to jail?
Gacy?
You don't have, yeah.
Never
You
owe the
pay
government
this?
money,
No,
man.
Gacy wasn't the one with the parking ticket. It was the guy who died.
Oh! That's why he died.
So 18-year-old Robert Gilroy was his next victim. Last seen alive on September 15th. He was actually the son of a police sergeant, and he only lived 4 blocks away from Gacy.
Holy shit.
Yeah. However, one thing we have to know was that Gacy went on vacation not vacation, but it was a work trip to Pittsburgh, and he was there from the 12th to the 16th. So while he was last seen alive on the 15th, Gacy would have had to like pick him up the 16th, which is like the same day he got back, and then kill him. He was still found in the crawl space, though. People believe Gacy had accomplices in his murder because of this.
Oh, just to like keep him alive while he was
Yeah.
on the trip, and then
Or-
came back and.
Or he,
I was gonna say maybe he blackmailed them.
because he was seen alive last on the 15th, people think that someone killed him and took him to Gacy's house. There is one guy specifically we can talk about later who people think is a accomplice.
I was
I'm
gonna
not
say,
sure though.
Maybe maybe he was doing the stuff with the workers and like blackmailed them. Like, I'm gonna release this
Yeah.
if you don't like
Yeah,
keep it hush
there is
hush.
a serial killer who did that similarly. Dean Corll, we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did something similar where he picked up a bunch of like basically he picked up 2 kids that were his accomplice.
But they did most of the like heavy work, like besides
Yeah,
the actual
he just
murder
killed.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, they would like, and it was a very similar like disposal method too, where Dean Corll had a shed, Gacy used his house.
Yeah. A shed that he rented from somebody else.
Yeah. On the 25th of September, 19-year-old John Mowry disappeared, leaving his mother's house. On his walk back to his apartment, he was buried under Gacy's master bedroom. Again, yeah, big house.
I was gonna say there's the master with a big king's bed. He could probably.
Is
fit
it like
2
a
in his
ranch?
thing.
Like
It is a ranch house.
Okay, I was about to say, like, how is he burying these people in all these places?
No, yeah, it's a big house. Look at-
Was it perhaps a ram?
Ram
house?
Ranch. Hey, Ram Ranch really rocks. Gacy's house really rocks.
Yeah. You know, after every kill, he said, "Gacy's house is all we got. All we got. is
All we
Gacy's
have
house."
is Brokeback Mountain.
Exactly.
I love that movie.
That's great.
Yeah.
You should watch Brokeback Mountain.
You should watch
now
Brokeback
on Showtime.
October 17th, 21-year-old, this is the oldest it goes, I believe, named Russell Nelson, disappeared leaving a Chicago bar. Apparently he was working for contract work, and Gacy was also present. So it's not unreasonable to say maybe Gacy was like, why don't you come back to my place, we'll talk about it. Handcuff trick, some drinks.
Tropical wine coolers, perhaps.
Yeah.
He gave him Dasani water. That should have been a red flag from the start.
This guy was buried under his guest bedroom, so...
He wasn't even worthy enough
Oof.
for the master.
4 weeks later...
That's how he judges his children.
he's like,
That's how
I
you
mean, it's
judge.
just getting cluttered in there. I think he just needed the extra room.
you're not good enough.
He actually did do the handcuff trick. He's like, no.
Get out!
You ruined it. My
You
trouble
defiled this place.
You made this sanctuary something dirty.
4 weeks later, he murdered 16-year-old Robert Winch. And then...
He is a wench.
And then in November, late November, Gacy murders Tommy Bowling. Like I said, we're just fucking going through these because there's like so many where he's just like, yeah, I killed this kid and this kid and this kid. On December 9th, 19-year-old David Telsma. David Telsma disappeared after leaving his home. He was attending a concert, but we don't know which band.
Oh.
It was
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin.
It was in a different
and
state, though.
AC/DC.
It was a
At the
Weezer
same
concert.
In 1970.
How can you be at 2 places at
77.
It was a Weezer concert. He's like,
In
oh, you deserve to
1970.
die.
There wasn't a Weezer.
Yeah, there was no
concert back
Weezer
then,
in
bro.
79. It was the good old days. Or
Yeah.
77.
It wasn't Weezer. It was Coffer.
What if we went to a police
Wow.
concert? Were the police sounds?
See,
Probably.
Ron Hall?
Yeah, I think that's possible.
Oh, it's definitely 77. I
Oh,
feel
so
like it's
Van
possible.
Yeah, I
Halen.
think so.
Let us know in the comments if the police were around in 1977.
Yeah, because God knows I'm not checking.
Yeah, because I don't fuck them.
Fuck it, they're dead. What are they gonna do?
No, they're not.
No, Sting is
Fortunately,
alive.
they are not. Sting is alive. I hate him. Sting.
He's the lead singer for the police.
I
Police
know.
are for
It's just for some reason I'm thinking of fucking.
Jamie's looking it up.
WWE.
Are you looking at it?
No, my good work friend was asking why I'm not in work, and I said I wasn't scheduled.
Good.
Remember, kids, evade the IRS and embezzle all the money out of your company.
I'll try to keep that in.
Put all your money into
Also,
gold.
insider trading.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi. Become a very predominant.
Just invest in whatever she does.
What you want to do is you want to pull the Hillary Clinton route. Delete 33,000 vital emails to the ongoing investigation.
Lie. Say you didn't do it.
But you
And
actually
then
did.
get out of it. So, I don't know how she got out of it in court when they said, well, we have proof that you did do it. I really don't know what happened after that.
She's a politician. I don't think they ever took her to court, did they? I don't think so. So, he buried him under his crawl he buried him in his crawl space, strangled him.
Where was it? Did they?
They didn't say.
Oh
It was
my
just in the
God.
crawl space.
Damn it!
Yeah. So now this next, this is not a murder. This is an abduction.
I gotta
Um,
ask, how did his house not smell like rotten
It did.
flesh?
It
did.
did.
People not go into his house and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, the people who he brought there died.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure Gacy took steps to mitigate.
Didn't
like,
you say? Didn't you say he put like cloth in the mouth?
he
But
put the
that-
cloth in the mouth to it so that he thought about for a time putting people in his attic, not his crawl space. But he'd put cloths in their mouth so there wouldn't be like straight up like vomit and shit.
I mean, that would work for like the first month, but like some of these bodies have been there for months.
Not even
Oh,
a month. Like
wait
even
until we get to the actual thing. All of these bodies are in advanced states of decay where they're just skeletons.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, those worms were eaten.
The thing is that Gacy took steps to make sure people. I'm sure I don't have anything in my notes, but I'm sure he tried to get people to stay away from the inside of his house for as close as possible. You know what I mean?
He just looked a handcuffed chick on
Yeah.
his front patio before you go inside.
But
let's see what
you
it
will see later that the smell comes up. I'm sure Gacy smelled it, especially in the wintertime.
Oh,
If that
really?
with the heat on.
you with
Oh,
the
with
heat
the
on.
heat
Yeah,
on.
it comes back. It comes back.
I was gonna say, what did he do? Like pour lye on him and then just shove him under?
You think like he just walks into his house after a long day? He's like, what is that smell? All right.
No, he knows. Like
Yeah,
I'm
alright.
100%. It smelled bad for years, like dead bodies.
He
No
was
matter
like,
how much pine
he was
salt
like,
you
God
eat.
damn it, his toilet.
He's like, yeah, my bad, my toilet. is
Toilet.
clogged."
Why does it actually smell like?
It's like somebody's walking into
Decaying
his house. They
flesh.
pass by the like garbage bin. It's like stacks of like empty pine salt bottles.
And lye.
Hey, Riley.
Hey Riley, can you take out this trash bag?
So, like I said, this was an abduction, but that goes against Gacy's MO because Gacy's killing people. That's how he gets his thrill. However, there is a reason.
You wanted some top.
No, you'll see. So on December 30th, 1977, Gacy abducts a 19-year-old from a bus stop.
Oh.
His name was Robert Donnelly. Gacy drove Donnelly to his home, where he raped and tortured him, and literally stuck his head in a fucking bathtub repeatedly until he passed out.
Wait, how old was he?
19.
Because I remember asking, like, did he ever like fuck? Any of his, did he ever
Like I
kill-
said, he didn't fuck. He might have fucked the people who he killed, but he definitely, like I said, he had some assaults.
Put it in
This is an assault. This is not a murder.
Put it in a shitter till his eyes glitter.
Mm-hmm. Shit in her eyes.
African gods.
So, that's not that bad though. That's just where you put your balls over your eyes.
my ass clean.
Stop it. So, literally, Donnelly was in so much pain. He asked Gacy to kill him, and Gacy was like, "I'm getting around to it." Literally, that's his exact words, according to Donnelly.
He's like, hey, I'm doing my best here.
After several hours of rape and torture,
No.
Gacy dropped Donnelly off in a park. And he told him, "It's like, no one's going to believe you." So he just drove away. Donnelly did not listen and went to the police in early January of 1978. Remember, this is literally the 30th of December.
Right
Gacy,
after Christmas. Merry Christmas, guys.
yeah, that was his
Birth of
Christmas present to
Christ.
himself. He's like, you know what? I'm taking a me day. We're going for a rape. Gacy...
You know what? Today's not
I'm
about.
rewarding myself.
You know what? Today's not
She
about
dead.
rape and murder. Today's about Gacy.
So Donnelly reports the assault. Gacy's questioned by the police, and he said to him that they had a slave master sexual relationship.
Oh my.
Donnelly was, and he told police Donnelly was mad because Gacy promised to pay him money for this, but did not, and that's why Donnelly was reporting this to the police.
Couldn't he still get arrested for that because prostitution is illegal? Like he offered to pay for sex.
Well,
If you film it.
I don't-
It still varies by state by
guess.
state.
yeah, it
isn't
does. Yeah, I'm not sure how the laws would have
Some
worked
states,
in
it's not
70
illegal.
78.
It's like
Plus, it's
smoking.
really hard to prove it if you just say it.
Well, he just.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's hearsay.
So it's 1978. So the police believed him and they dropped all charges related to this. The month after, Gacy murdered 19-year-old William Kindred. This is the last Gacy victim to be buried in his crawl space.
Where do you move him?
Well, here's the
His
problem.
condo.
The reason, like I alluded to earlier, the reason Gacy might have stopped killing people for that short time was not because he felt bad.
The smell.
He ran out of room in his crawl space. It was full. And like I said, he thought about moving him to the attic, but that shit's gonna drip down, especially with the fucking even though he stuffed their
you
mouths.
still empty their bowels.
Yes.
Couldn't he just go to a laundromat and get those giant plastic things that people put suits in,
And just lay him out.
and just put them in their tight clothes?
Oh yeah.
He could do that, but they're like I said,
Hey, I
his
need 50
fucking,
of these.
I don't know. I feel like the smell would be worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So
So
that's literally rotting flesh.
yeah.
Like people who have smelled it is like sometimes they can't even eat steak just because it's
I
so
think about
pungent.
that-
It
I think
reminds.
about that moisture guy that
Yeah.
did the Q&A.
Yeah. You can't even eat steaks anymore.
So the reason probably the reason Gacy stopped committing murders and just went to assaults was because he had no room to put the bodies, not because he wanted to stop.
You had to be sparing about
Yeah.
it.
So
It's like collecting. He's like, I didn't really care for this guy. I'll throw him out. Put this guy in his place.
So it goes assault, the last murder in his house, and then in March of 1978, Gacy commits another assault on a young man. Oh, this is the oldest one actually. This is not a murder, so it doesn't count. 26-year-old.
Holy shit!
26
That's
year old.
just consensual sex.
26-year-old
Is
Jeffrey
it?
Rignall.
If you're over 18, it's good. That's just
Yeah, but I don't
boys
think
will
it
be
was
boys.
just
Boys
by-
will be
yeah,
boys.
face
But
stats,
I'm
yeah.
saying, I don't think it was consensual sex. I think it's just
No, but,
non-pedophilia.
They're
No,
both guys.
Boys will be boys.
Yeah,
So
it's a guy thing.
It just you wouldn't understand.
You're not old enough.
A man
I'm older
thing.
than all of them.
I'll tell
By
you
a
what,
month, bro.
Older, youngster.
You wouldn't get it.
I'm older than you, Sonny.
You wouldn't get it.
I'll suck your dick.
Not mentally, bro.
Steamy love ropes down your fucking throat. Let's continue.
Well, JC lures 26-year-old Jeffrey Rignall into his car.
JC?
Gacy.
Hush.
Whatever. Jeffrey.
John Jane JC.
Yeah, he lured 26-year-old Jeffrey Rignall into his car, and then he chloroformed him and drove him to his house where he tortured and raped him.
I mean, you can't say no if he's unconscious.
And he dumped him in a Chicago park, and he managed to stumble to his girlfriend's house and called the police.
I was gonna say, what is it with the police? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
You're arrested.
Third time, you're officially that guy. All right, my dad wears Armani suits and drives for. Fuck you.
All right, John Tron. I like how I've gotten all of your references.
You're
Well-
too smart for me.
Police arrest Gacy, and he's charged with battery, but he was allowed to be free while charges were pending.
Oh,
Makes sense. Yeah.
did he just boogie?
However, this case would never be brought to trial
Really?
because another trial conflicted with it.
What do you mean?
You'll see.
Can't find the time, man.
Yeah, they couldn't. No, Gacy was arrested
Oh.
and couldn't fucking be. They didn't want to charge him for the battery because they had to charge him for 33 murders.
Oh, they finally got him.
Yeah, because by the time they were done with all the charges,
What was
and
the
shit,
guy's name again that he raped?
Jeffrey Rignall.
Justice for Rignall, man.
He testifies.
Attaboy.
He testifies at the thing, showing how.
So they just
Can we
brought
reopen
him
that case though?
So no,
It
did
doesn't
they just
matter.
hit him with
No.
the wombo combo?
Yeah.
So they just
so
mixed them.
the assault and then the 33 fucking bodies.
Yeah.
He's
As if it
"All right,
wasn't enough.
Your Honor, imagine during
I
the
actually-
case, Your Honor, he did not. Just because he assaulted, and then someone comes up, oh yeah, by the way, he did 33 murders. They found the bodies in his house, and the lawyer's like,
The lawyer was fucking putting in work. They call Saul Goodman. He was gonna get off scot free with the 33, and then the guy
And then he
testified. And they're like,
testifies
"Fuck no!"
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
So, like I said before, so some time passes and Gacy's thinking, where can I bury these? He wants to kill again.
At the police station.
Where can I put my bodies? So,
Do you often have this issue? Are you at 30?
Billy Mays here.
so where does Gacy? You can't put them in the attic because of the leaking fluids. Can't put them in the crawl space because there's no room. Where would you put bodies?
Cemetery. Like
I would rent
I put him.
I would
Didn't
rent
he
a
say
storage
he did one
container.
in the garage?
I'd rent a storage container.
Yeah, but there's still like you have to
Please?
dig up the entire floor.
Oh,
you
you're
have to
moving the
do- it's
concrete,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know it's not this. And I really hope it's not. Please don't tell me he just like fucking keeps them in the house like they're chilling.
No, that's not Dahmer.
I was gonna say,
Dahmer did
No,
that.
he just drops them in the
I
park.
would say chop them up and down the drain.
Ate them.
Well,
That'd be too much work, wouldn't it?
instead he just threw the bodies in the river,
Oh.
the Des Plaines River.
Is that the big one that runs through all of Chicago?
I believe so. It runs into
Oh.
Lake Erie or whatever the one is
Oh,
next
shit.
to Illinois.
Yeah. No, that's Michigan.
Oh, okay.
I think
yeah.
it is Michigan.
Lake Michigan. Yeah, it runs into that. Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So Gacy admitted
So if
to.
you ever swam in Lake Michigan, you swam
I was
with some
gonna
dead
say,
people.
if you're in
Yeah.
Michigan and
Oh,
you're currently,
please, that's
Congratulations.
if you're in
I
Michigan,
promise
you're
you,
currently
any
drinking
body of
water.
water that's big enough
Has
where
dead
you
bodies.
can't see the other side. There's at least one dead body. I
Oh,
promise
You're
for real.
you're
For
sipping
real.
on victims right now. There,
Yep,
buddy.
yep.
You.
Remember that one time you
You're
went underwater?
complacent.
That's why I
Remember that
only
one
drink
time you
bottled
went
water.
underwater and some water got in your mouth and you swallowed? Herpes.
I'm not no bystander. I only drink bottled water.
Yeah.
Yep, nothing
You're
from the lakes.
complacent in the murder of 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
You're
I-
now an
I
accomplished
actively go to the
cannibal.
ocean and Badlands chugs at least 33 gallons.
You have
I
herpes.
purposely only use the bathroom in public bodies of water, so I know for a fact at least 1% of that lake is Eunice.
Always upstream.
Eunice.
Always upstream.
Always, bro.
So Gacy admits to throwing 5 bodies in the river, but they only ever found 4 of them.
Oh.
Last one got caught in the current.
He
The,
told.
the
got
final
caught in
one,
the current.
the
He's
final
only in
body
Michigan,
was the
though.
friends he made along the way.
Well, he alleges that it was that it got caught on a bridge when he was
Dumbest shit
slowing
I've
it down.
So it's just hanging from a bridge.
But they never found it, so he might just be lying. Although they did find 4 bodies. Well, in June, Gacy murdered 20-year-old Timothy O'Rourke. And in November, Gacy murders 19-year-old Frank
Doesn't stop, huh?
Langingen. Yeah. They found his body 8 days later. But at this point, the police don't know there's a serial killer on the loose, so they're like, "Oh shit, a dead body." He was
At
found
this
by
point, it's just a homicide, right?
yeah, he was found by duck hunters. And on November 24th, Gacy murdered 20-year-old James Mazazara. Mazazara? Yeah.
Wow.
He threw his body into the river. And we're finally on Gacy's last victim.
The final check.
Yep. And this one is the most famous because this is how he gets caught. This is when real police work starts kicking in.
When the
Because
Chicago police are just,
Back to this hunch.
actually it was the Des
No,
Plaines police.
That's the dumbest thing to me whenever like we do any of these.
Yeah.
Like these people, like they'll tell me like, oh yeah, he got this charge, this charge, this charge. He got called the cops on him, called the cops on him, called the cops on him, went to court, went to jail, went to court. I'm like, dog, he had like 30 different times he had to deal with you guys.
Yeah.
He's not one of your suspects.
he is public
The
enemy
thing is,
number
a lot of
one.
them didn't even, because again, they didn't communicate with each other.
Yeah.
So they didn't even know it was the same guy.
A lot of the people Gacy killed some of them were people coming in from out of town, so it's like nobody knows they're
yeah,
there.
as a drifter. I was
Yep.
gonna say
He
'cause,
was a drifter
like his
killer.
first assault was back in Iowa. So like you were saying, they
but
didn't.
his first murder was a guy going on a bus.
Yeah,
Probably not even from Chicago.
I was
Right.
gonna say, wasn't he like 16?
Yeah.
So he probably ran away from home.
Yeah, a lot of Gacy's victims legitimately were people drifting in and out of town, but a lot of them were like people whose families were just like, whatever, or not.
I mean, that again,
whatever.
it was the 60s,
Yeah.
so it's just like be
Yeah.
home before 2 a.m. you
Yeah.
know?
Literally. Plus, also, you're right. It's the 60s, so a lot of those people that were 18 or 19,
That,
they really did think maybe like, oh, I guess he just.
That was
I guess he's
yeah.
living alone now. Okay.
That's
that was,
again,
that was
my
a
son
decade
grew
of
up.
love
Yeah.
too. So everyone's
Yeah.
just tossing
Oh
around.
yeah, this is Chicago.
swinging
People were
dicks, fucking
in the
chicks.
70s. Yeah.
This is Chicago in the 70s. There were like 15-year-olds that saw the quote-unquote love of their life.
Yeah.
And literally just like, all right, mom, dad, I got this job where I work on a farm. Bye. And they,
No,
they
that was
do like see them once a year.
that was California. That was Manson.
and this is why,
Told
like,
you that.
I believe like John Wayne Gacy and Dean Corll are so similar
Yeah.
when it comes to like murdering, because Dean Corll went for like little boys, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, most of his kills were like kids on the same street, and people just thought that they ran away.
Yeah.
A lot of these kids, their parents, number one, didn't care.
That's why a lot of like the famous serial killers were like 60s, 70s, just because it was
Right,
that
yeah.
time period where parents were like,
there will
Yeah,
never,
it's fine.
kids would just leave, and a
Yeah,
lot of the
it's
parents,
fucked
like
up.
there's never gonna like the only time nowadays people get names as serial killers is they do one big thing.
I was just
Like
saying
they
a lot of
do,
these
like,
some
Columbine,
crazy fucking shit.
like Columbine.
And also
like
the thing
one
is-
guy did something, killed a shit ton of people at once. There was no
Like
this is a
off
guy
the,
that we've been
off
looking
the
for
top of
for
your head,
4 or
can you
5
name
years.
the
Like,
Columbine killers?
No.
Yes.
No.
Like technology is so technology is like everywhere
It was
now.
And the thing is, like with a lot of
Okay,
these kids,
if your name is not Riley, can you name the Columbine killers by name?
and with a lot of these kids in the
Eric
60s and
Harris
70s,
and I don't know what the other one's name is.
No,
Like-
that's Pink Floyd.
No, it's not.
I know.
Oh.
That's Pink Floyd.
No.
like a lot of these families were struggling as well, especially with like Dean Corll's victims.
Oh yeah.
So just having their kid gone was actually such like a financial relief.
Hey, Carter is
And they
president.
would rather just believe that they ran away than anything else.
Yeah, no, it gives the parents a breather. To just be like,
No,
all right.
honestly.
Because that really was it in the 70s. If you were 18 and still living at home,
See ya.
you're either a failure or you're in college.
Yeah.
Like, there's no gray area.
Yeah, you're right.
failure. You live. You're
And
in
even
college.
then, it's like they're like, get the.
Oh yeah, a lot of people in
out.
college, even like I go to University of Michigan.
Mhm.
It's like a 10-minute drive from my house. Even back in the 70s, people would get like dorms and apartments and stuff. Like, all right, mom, I'm in college. I'm moving out.
You know, my great uncle gifted all of his like children suitcases, a suitcase and a TV for their 18th birthday. Literally,
Yeah.
no joke. Like he had like 4 kids.
Yeah.
He was like, get the fuck out.
Like I'm moving out soon.
Yeah.
Like a
Like-
year and a half.
like
I'll
going-
be 20, 21.
Yeah.
Like going back to what we were talking about, like even like my dad talking about, because he was 80, so he grew up with like NES. I was like, dude, how much time did you spend at NES? He was like, we didn't stay inside. Like we were told to go outside and just go until you can't go
Oh yeah.
no more.
A lot of times, like I'm really sorry to keep getting this
No,
off
it's
track.
okay. It doesn't
But
matter.
like 60s, 70s, like nowadays, a kid goes to their mom. Mom, can I go outside play with my friends? She'll be like, all right, be back inside before 8 o'clock.
No.
Back then, it was the mom would go into your room. She's like, hey, it's nice outside. Go outside. Don't be back before 10.
Yeah.
Like my dad, he'd go somewhere, wouldn't tell his parents, he'd just be gone. Now my mom's like, even going to like a girl I'm seeing's house, like someone I'm trying to be romantically involved with, she's like, I want the parents' names, I
Oh,
want
yeah.
the address, I
Yep.
want their phone number.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, for sure. Like I can't go any like right now. Like
I had to tell my parents where I was going. They wanted your address.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, I can't wait until I move out. But even then, I know for a fact my dad's probably gonna call me daily.
Yeah,
for at
no,
least
no.
that first few months.
My
'Cause
mom-
I have to tell him eventually, Bubba, restricted to a once a week call. I'll tell you what's been going on with my
Like,
life.
my mom is like, I'm gonna come over your house and fuck shit up. I was like, I won't allow you in my house.
Yeah.
No.
That is, I can't wait to pull that card on my family. Hey Eunice, would you give me like if my dad ever comes over for like a weekend visit or something? I'm like, this is my house, my rules. You'll be back inside before 6.
He's gonna beat your ass.
It's my house. No, my dad. I'm already
So you
Alright,
Right.
in the respectful way, I've already surpassed my father in physical strength. So if he tries to hit me, I'm like gonna stand still.
That-
I'm like,
I
Let me
think
show you how it's done.
I think the point that like my dad stopped fucking with me because he would like hit me if I'm being
Yeah.
stupid. He doesn't hit me anymore. He got a little too drunk and I was like, let me pick you up, pops. He's a big guy. He's like 200, 210, somewhere around there. And I was heavy on testosterone. We'll tell that story a different time.
Oh god.
And I'm working at the factory. I'm fucking jacked. I'm like, come here, let me pick you up, pops. He goes, you can't do it. I carried him like a baby. And he was like, oh, I'm not fucking with him
my
anymore.
dad hasn't beaten my ass since the day where like I was like fucking ultra instinct to Goku. He like tried to hit me, like he tried to like backhand me, and like I dodged it. And then he looked at me. And he like this time he got mad. I think he was like really angry because he was just out the hospital a week earlier because he had some kidney stones that were too big to surgically remove it. So he was in a cranky ass mood all month. Then he like actually threw a punch. That's something he's never done before, and I caught it. And I looked at him. I'm like, and then he looked at me. He's like, "Go, get away from me." And ever since that day, like he stopped like at trying to beat my
We
ass.
have to get back to the murderers.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
Let's
it's
get
okay.
back to the murder victims.
So, damn. So on December 11, 1978, Gacy visits the Nissan, the Nissan pharmacy located in Des Plaines, which is, like I said, right next to Chicago. And that's the river where he's dumping all the bodies. So, one of the employees saw Gacy, and like at this pharmacy, you can buy like stuff for like construction.
A pharmacy.
It's more like a general store, but it's
Yeah.
called a pharmacy.
Yeah.
Like a Walgreens.
Like a
Yeah,
bodega.
basically. So
CVS.
he says, hey, he's looking for work. His name is Robert Peast. He's 15 years old, and he wanted to save up money to buy a car. Gacy told him he would pay him double what he's making at the pharmacy. He's making $5, which is $22 today. Oh no, wait.
Shit.
He told me. Sorry, he told me you'd pay him $5, which is $22 today.
I was just saying he made $22, and that's $5 today.
Yeah. No. So he was like, yeah. So Peast basically, Gacy left the store. Literally, as he's walking out, Peast grabs his coat and runs out the door to talk to Gacy more about the job. Peast and Gacy end up going back to his house where Gacy shows him the handcuff trick. He raped and strangled him, and then he threw his body in the river.
A wombo combo?
Yeah. He threw his body in the river, and once Peast didn't return to the store, his family, who actually gave a shit about him this
Right.
time.
Which means they must have been wealthy.
Bro,
Yeah.
this would never happen with an Adam family because we're so like invasive of other people's privacy.
Yeah.
Like literally, if I'm missing for like half an hour, the fucking police are out.
Well, once Peast didn't return to the store, the family immediately filed a missing persons report. And you don't have to wait 48 hours. You can file it immediately. Lieutenant Joseph Kozenak, I think is how you say his
Do
name.
you need me to look at it?
Sure.
Is it German?
Here.
Where?
This.
Where
It's
is
spelled correctly, even though it's
Kosniak.
Kosniak. Joseph Kosniak decided to investigate Gacy because he had talked to the people at the pharmacy and said, like, this is the last person who saw him before he disappeared. And I want to give a lot of credit to him because he is, like, the first person to take everything seriously. He immediately ran a background check on him and found the sodomy charged. Which he could see it, and like I said, his records were closed, so he didn't get any details unless he, like, requested them, I guess. But he could see, hey, fucking...
Yeah, you already done struck out
Yeah.
with this one.
He also interviewed Peast's mother and determined it was literally extremely unlikely he'd run away. Because they were such a close-knit family.
Oh, no, he had it, like, really good.
Yeah.
Oh.
They might not have been rich because he was trying to save up money to buy a car, or if he was rich, it wasn't like, I am sucking off daddy's money.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
working
so
for
they were well
off.
Yeah,
They were well
they
off.
might have been.
A
I mean,
self-made man.
yeah. He was 15. So,
Self-made kid.
keep that in mind. Yeah. So,
Maybe,
Kosniak...
I was gonna say, maybe you just wanted to impress dad. Be like, I see how you're doing. I want to be like you. I want to.
I think
And like the thing is, even like with wealthy families, they'll still like teach the kid you have to work to grow up. Like,
Yeah.
even, like I know, like even my dad's side
I
of the family,
heard-
like, they're pretty well off.
Oh, yeah.
But still,
Like,
so you're saying you
like
want
my
to go
cousins-
fuck yourself?
no,
you're
my-
rich.
like my cousins still work for pretty much everything they have,
Like,
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
though their
no.
dad's well off.
So, Kosniak and police decided to give Gacy a little visit. And Gacy said that he went to the store and he didn't even interact with Peast. He didn't even like know who the guy was. He just went there to pick up supplies for his construction company and he left. He said that they basically wanted him to come down to the station for a formal interview because this was basically just a simple like, hey, we're here to like because we heard something, we want to talk. Gacy said he couldn't come down to the police station because his uncle had just died, which is true. But when they were like, why? You know, like, can you like pick out a certain time maybe where you can like make time to come down here? Gacy said, you guys are very rude. Don't you have any respect for the dead? However,
Yeah.
Gacy came in literally the following morning at 3:20, covered in mud.
3:20 in the morning.
Yes. No one was there. The police station was open, but no detective was there. It was all beat cops, you know. He was covered in mud and his car was like fucked up. He said it was because of an accident, but he was actually dumping Robert Peast's body and he got covered in mud because he was next to the river. So the following morning, he comes back because
No one was there.
he came back later in the day when people were actually there, and he literally gave them the exact same story. Now, Des Plaines police thought that Gacy had kidnapped Peast and he was holding him somewhere in his house. So they were like really fucking like
Adamant about getting a search warrant.
they were really like we gotta fucking nail him. We gotta get this search warrant fast because they thought that he was holding him hostage in his house.
Side note: the crawl space, since it's like stanking up the whole house, wouldn't it like smell like shit just being near the house, like rotting flesh?
We're gonna get to that
Okay.
because
Let's say crawl space. What is that? It's just like a lattice, and then it's
Yeah.
like the actual house.
Yeah, so it's like exposed
Mhm.
outside.
well, it's the winter at this point.
Oh,
This
and
is
the
actually-
heat is fucking bumping.
It's funny you say that. So this is this is actually right before the Great Chicago Blizzard or whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Where it
I
was,
thought
like,
you were talking
huge-
about the Great Chicago Fire. I
Oh
was like,
no, way after that, or the TV show Chicago Fire.
The hit TV show airing Monday nights on Freeform.
Remember,
So-
we're sponsored by ABC.
No, we
ABC doesn't exist anymore. It's
Dude.
Freeform.
really?
No, it still
Yeah.
exists.
They don't have the TV show, the TV station ABC anymore.
No, it's Freeform. Remember?
We're sponsored by Nickelodeon.
Yes, we are.
What? That's even worse. I love
Just
them.
like Gacy's victims, 10 and older.
Damn. So police get a search warrant pretty fast, and they were looking for suspicious items. They found they were looking
item?
for Robert Peace's body actually,
Mm-hmm.
but they found a laundry list of suspicious items.
Yeah. The smell alone. Like as soon as any cop
No.
walks in,
No,
come on.
let me tell you what he did.
He actually put up the pine tree air freshener, and it got rid of all evidence.
Because it was so cold outside. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about that later. Because why didn't they smell the dead bodies when they were in the house?
Oh, they didn't.
They didn't smell the dead bodies. So they found, when they did the search warrant, several police badges, a 6mm Beretta starter pistol.
Beretta.
No, it's Beretta.
Beretta.
Yeah, this one.
Bro.
It's like it's not an actual pistol.
Oh,
it's
it's
the
just
one
like
that
a
just shoots
trainer.
blanks.
Yeah,
blanks.
it's a trainer.
Sorry, it's for races.
Ah.
Yep.
Starting pistol.
Yeah, it's a starter pistol.
I'd like to imagine it's part of his show as a clown.
I think it was for kidnapping people actually, but
Oh,
yeah,
like fake gunpoint.
yeah.
Because
Get
I
in
don't
the
think
car.
clowns going into like hospitals can like fight guns.
Hey, that's a scene in the
no,
Joker.
I was
Yeah.
just gonna
Yeah.
say.
I was gonna say, no, the only reason I say that is because when I was a kid, there was a clown at my little sister's birthday party, and
They
he
have,
had
like,
this,
the
he was doing this
Joker
thing where it's
bang
like
gun?
he had like balloons hanging on the
Mhm.
garage, and he had this little trick where the gun was it was like filled with blanks,
Mhm.
and he was like popping the
Filled with
balloons even though
blanks?
nothing was coming out of the gun.
Okay. That's
I'm
I guess
pretty sure that was just an Arab man dressed up as a
Mhm.
clown.
It was actually an American woman.
they
Oh.
found. They also
Bubba.
found
He put on a mask.
a syringe with hypodermic needles, handcuffs, several homosexual books.
Oh.
The Kama Sutra.
What if like during the court, like they ignore all that evidence, but the
He's
use the
gay!
homosexual books, like
He's
it has to
gay!
be him.
He's gay.
Just like Freddie Mercury.
Capsules of amyl nitrate,
Oh.
Valium,
Oh shit.
several driver's licenses,
Hell yeah.
some of which belong to victims.
It happened.
Underwear too small for Gacy to wear,
Oh.
which is he made one of his victims wear those underwear, and then a 1975 Maine West High School ring with the initials JAS. They also found
Jason Voorhees.
no.
You got it, man.
Right on the money.
Ignore that second J.
They
It's just different design.
they also discovered a receipt for the Nissan pharmacy, but it didn't actually belong to Gacy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, isn't it like a thing that killers keep a piece of each murder? It's like a trophy.
Sometimes it's trophies, but yeah, he probably would like to relive.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I know killers will keep like jewelry and shit. Like Richard Ramirez sold that shit.
Mm-hmm.
He kept some of it. But
I was gonna say that's kind of interesting because I always thought it was like they either visit the scene of the crime or
Yeah,
they keep a
keep
thing.
some- yeah.
He lives at the scene of the crime.
he does. So the receipt is actually going to become very important later. I know it makes no sense. They found it in his trash can. Now this is all kind of suspicious, especially because but the thing is with these like we talked about before at length, these driver's licenses are of people that aren't from here sometimes, so they don't know who these people are, and for a lot of them maybe because police departments don't communicate, they don't know who's missing and who's not.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Could just be like family members.
exactly, yeah. Even though he has a lot of them.
Their driver's license behind.
You'd be surprised.
Mm-hmm. Now, all this is kind of suspicious. Like I said before, it's suspicious, but they think he's up to something. They still don't know where Robert Peace is.
Mm-hmm.
So they set up 24-hour surveillance on Gacy, and they switched 2 shifts. Like it was 12 hours, and then they switched another 12 hours. Police got a call from an associate of Gacy. His name was Alex Rossi. This is someone people believe might have been an accomplice.
Yeah.
And he kind of snitched on Gacy, saying multiple PDM contractor, like people were missing. His employees. I don't know why I stuttered on that. On December 15th, the Des Plaines police learned of that battery charge that we were talking about with Rignall. Jeffrey Rignall. Him, yeah. And they learned that the ring belonged to one of Gacy's victims who was reported missing, named John Allen Sykes.
Oh.
We already know he's the victim.
No, it's just come
we
full
do.
circle.
Yeah. They don't know. At this point, Gacy was like openly taunting police surveillance teams.
Was he looking at him, putting signs in his window? I see you.
He waved like he'd walk by and wave at them, like when he was driving. He invited them. He'd talk to them.
He walked by them while driving?
Sorry, I fucked that up. Yeah, I figured I could just keep going. So he'd openly taunt the surveillance teams.
Yeah.
He'd drive next to them and like wave at them. He'd come up to them and start talking to them while he was like out walking around. One time he was at a diner and they were sitting in the diner but like not next to him. He invited them to come over and like eat food with them. And he invited them into his house.
Oh.
Yes.
What a nice guy.
Dude.
So, despite openly taunting these people, on December 18th, just 3 days later, from when they found out whose ring it was, Gacy kind of starts to crack a little bit.
But
like,
I'm sorry, you did just say that they were taunting them. That's another like common trait, like
Yeah.
they'll tease on the police, and him inviting them in was a power play.
Yeah.
Just getting that one up on
Exactly.
them.
Yeah, that's a big move.
Oh yeah.
So, Gacy sues the Des Plaines Police Department for $750,000.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does he get the W on this one?
Sure.
You know it.
You know what happens. So, on the same day,
We actually
December
find
18th,
out John Wayne Gacy is the most rich man in the world.
he would have gotten out of this then. So on the same day, December 18th, they find out whose receipt was the one found in Gacy's home.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, a friend of Robert Peace named Kimberly Byers worked the same place he did, the Nissan pharmacy. She had that receipt in her pocket because she had gone to, she had basically gotten photos developed at the pharmacy, and so she had a receipt in her pocket. She borrowed Peace's jacket, which, remember, he grabbed before he left. And while she was there, she absent-mindedly put the receipt in his pocket.
Everything.
Yep.
Way to go, women.
I'm sure they would have gotten something else on him.
Bullshit.
No.
So she told this story to police. So Gacy had him in his house, or he had been close to him at some point. So police find this out, and also this completely contradicts his statement that he gave to police, because how do you not interact with Robert Peace at all but still get the receipt off of him? You know what I mean?
I mean, sometimes there are just coincidences like that, but it is very suspicious.
Yeah, it is suspicious. So police are gathering evidence, but the search team is still surveying him. Gacy invited these people into his house, and one of them was going to the bathroom when they noticed a smell coming from the air vent. And so here's how we're gonna finally get to how did Gacy fucking cover up the smell? He didn't. The reason police didn't notice that it smelled like dead bodies in his house when they went in there is because he turned the air off, and it was freezing outside.
Really?
Yeah. So he had closed all the vents so the smell wouldn't get through the vents. But that day, he had he had the heat blasting, so it was disgusting in there. Yeah.
So we only noticed it when they went to the bathroom?
Yep, because the vent was right by the toilet, and it was open and blasting heat. So one of the detectives, or one of the people doing the surveillance team on him, his name was Ronald Robertson, was the one who discovered this. So he basically was like, okay, there's a dead body in this house.
Mm.
But at this point, they still only think there was one or maybe like a few from those licenses. On December 20th, Gacy arrived at an appointment that he had late at night with his lawyer. The lawyer thought that he was just going to discuss the civil suit that they had filed. But when Gacy arrived, he was like fucking terrified. He was like visibly distraught. So he sat down, he asked his lawyer to pour him some booze, and then confessed to the murder of 30 men and Robert Peast.
Wow.
Yeah, he literally...
So he just like cracked on his own.
Oh yeah. It took him for... Like this whole conversation lasted into the next morning. He arrived late at night. It took him until the next morning to finish his confession. He literally did the entire stretch of murders he committed. Yeah.
Wow.
He described his victims. This is once again goes to Gacy being a psychopath, because he described his victims as male prostitutes, hustlers, and liars, whom he believed were just his property. Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's another thing murderers do. They try to dehumanize their
Yeah.
victims. Just it's subconscious. They don't even realize they're
yeah,
doing it.
that
It's
is
also a
true.
way to help him cope, really.
Mhm. Especially Gacy, because at this point he's cracking.
Yeah.
This is not the only person he confesses to, by the way. But he's about to get arrested.
Yeah.
So
No.
yeah. So Gacy literally passed out from how drunk he was. And his lawyer didn't believe him at first, but then as the night went on, he was like, holy fucking shit. So his lawyer scheduled a...
That lawyer must have been shitting himself. Like, fuck, am I next?
Yeah, no, he was scared. There's an interview with him in the documentary that I'll plug at the end of this, where he was like, holy fucking shit, there's a murderer in my office. He passed out from how drunk he got. And he literally scheduled, Gacy's lawyer scheduled Gacy to be psychologically evaluated the next morning. Because he's like, he's fucked. However, when Gacy woke up, he left, saying he had business to attend to. When Gacy...
I was gonna say, did he get 2 more off?
No, Gacy fucking immediately starts breaking down. It's even worse. Like, it gets way worse. He drove to a gas station and tried to sell somebody weed. Yeah.
Trying to make a quick buck.
I don't know why. The surveillance team saw this. And so he then drove to his neighbor's house and randomly just started confessing. He drove to another associate's place where he confessed to them too, killing 30 men.
I thought it was 33. Did he
It
only
is
do
33, but he said 30.
Oh.
He said 30 plus Alex, or what was his name? Robert Peast. Literally the guy he confessed to told the surveillance team that he confessed to him. When he was driving the entire time, he was holding a rosary to his chin and praying. The surveillance team was driving beside him and like behind him, and they could see him holding a fucking, like, kissing a rosary and praying in his car. At this point, the police are getting, like, another team is getting a search warrant ready for Robert Peast's body. Because at this point, because of that smell, they determined that he is buried in his crawl space. He's actually not, but... So, they are afraid Gacy's about to, like, kill himself, so they arrest him for that weed that they saw him sell earlier.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Getting another drug user off the streets. Good on him.
On
It's not like a gram and a half.
the next day,
Dime bag.
the next day on December 21st, the police finally get their search warrant. They go into the home to look for Robert Peast, but they immediately realize that there's like a ton of like the first thing they find is like decomposing bodies that are like on top, and they're like, oh shit, this is this guy that they found, the first guy
He
that
killed
they
like
found.
4 people. Oh no.
The
16 people. 20 people.
The first guy that they found was too decomposed to be Robert Peast, because he had only disappeared, like, at this point it's been 10 days. So police find one body that was so decomposed, they were like, oh shit. Then they realized they're looking at not just one person's remains, but several. Gacy, like, planned apparently, to have his crawl space renovated, he was gonna put limestone over it.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so
just
that-
melt them.
Yep. So, but he was actually planning to do that the next year. So if he hadn't gotten caught for this, the bodies would have been fucking well hid.
Right.
I don't know where he would. He would have just kept dumping them in the river.
The smell for like 99%.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only time you would have really smelled it is like he was like blasting that.
Actually, before he started really killing people, I left this out. He had his fucking. He had people work on his basement, like his contractors, and this is kind of another thing as why people think that he had accomplices. He had his employees renovate his basement to dig like graves.
Really?
Yeah.
So he was
Basic-
like, I need
they-
more bodies in my house.
No, this is when he first started out.
Okay.
So he basically, he said dig a hole here and then dig another hole here, and that's how he didn't just do all this by himself. He had his employees. I mean, he did some of it by himself. But starting out, he's like, okay, here, 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 and then he just put bodies in them and covered them up himself. Gacy, at this point, they're like, oh, fuck, they found a ton of bodies in your house, dude. He starts confessing, and he starts drawing a map to help. That's why I kept saying where these people were buried. Gacy drew a map to help investigators find where the bodies were.
Right at the top, like Gacy's treasure hunt.
The X marks the spot, and there's 33 X's.
He has like a drawing of himself. Like, Yar matey, find me booty.
So every single body found on Gacy's residence was so decomposed, they all had to be identified by dental and X-ray records. Yeah, and they save X-ray records for the really bad ones.
Wow.
Yeah, so they were fucked.
Oh yeah.
When all was said and done, investigators found 28 bodies in Gacy's crawl space, and that one in his garage. So 29. It took investigators 3 months to do all of this.
To get all the bodies out and
from December,
registered?
and they had to take a break.
Damn.
December to late March.
Wow.
Yep. So, in April, the house was demolished. They also discovered those bodies in the river because Gacy also confessed to the river bodies. They found Robert Peast, but they had to identify him by dental records because they didn't end up finding him until March. The autopsies revealed that Gacy had shoved Robert Peast died of suffocation. He had shoved.
House of a Thousand Corpses is based on John Wayne Gacy.
Is it?
I forgot about that.
That's
the
weird.
Rob Zombie critically acclaimed. It's actually a decent movie.
That's good.
It's based on John Wayne Gacy just because.
Of it, yeah.
Yeah, they just buried him in the house.
There are tons of themovies based on him. Like I know there's it's supposed to be like a spoof, or it's like a paranormal thing where like Gacy's house is haunted and they go to Gacy's house, even though literally in April of 1979,
The same year.
they fucking demolished his house. They actually gave the property half to his neighbor on the left, half to his neighbor on the right.
Nice.
Oh, then
Yeah.
you just get an extra
They
backyard.
Yeah, they split it in half.
And this is why I want to say I don't really believe in ghosts in the way that like people traditionally do.
Yeah.
Because of this, like if you bury like
Oh, yeah.
33 people, like you're burying over like 20 people in your house.
29.
Yes.
That's over 24 people.
And no like paranormal activity at all. Come on.
Yeah.
Like that's why I don't really believe like this kind of ghost.
Yeah.
Well, House of a Thousand Corpses says otherwise, so fuck you.
Well, that's
Rob
a
Zombie
movie.
never
No,
lies.
Rob movie, yeah.
So, it's some time passes. It's 1980, and Gacy is fucked. He's going to trial.
No.
Cause like
What about that misdemeanor charge? Did you get charged for that?
they dropped it because of the fucking 33 murders.
Why?
Oh yeah, really nail
What
it.
about
We
his
need his
marijuana
justice.
charge?
What about the
Justice,
marijuana
That's
charge?
true. They-
Distribution.
What about his unpaid parking ticket?
He didn't have that. That
He
wasn't
probably
him.
did.
He might have.
How
Well,
do you know?
This trial is not like it's very similar to Well, no.
Who's that guy? The one that we did. I think it was Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Where it's like he had like a million times we made jokes about like speeding tickets, parking tickets.
Yeah,
and,
because-
like, that monster.
Because he parked his car in so many different he'd pick girls up
Yeah.
You should.
and then
In a
take them to the
fucking
woods.
Beetle.
Yeah, in the Volkswagen Beetle.
How good looking was he, bro? And how do you
I
pick
mean,
up that many girls in a Beetle?
I don't
That's
know.
like a whole thing on TikTok though,
Yeah, I
like
saw that
fetishizing like
Yeah.
school
Yeah.
shooters
Yeah.
and shit.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a huge
It's a
thing.
thing?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I think that's
huge.
right.
Oh my god, you know like you know how girls will make like like slow edits of like their boyfriend or
There's
girlfriend
traps.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing for like school shooters.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Swear to God,
They
you can look up
sometimes.
like compilations on YouTube.
People are sick, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
It's like people who are fetishizing.
People fetishize
Manson.
serial killers too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
There were
Especially
a lot,
Ted-
even
Ted
Ted
Bundy.
Bundy for a while,
Yeah.
even when he
Yeah.
was on trial.
Ed Kemper
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
because I remember there was that big thing a few months ago where it was like that really hot looking guy killed some people, and people on TikTok were like, "Free him, he's too cute for jail."
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah.
No,
I feel
that's
like there's
not-
a difference between that
No, it's-
versus, oh my god, yeah, murder those kids, yeah.
The other Columbine shooter was Dylan Klebold. Trial was more like, so is Gacy? They had to determine if he was sane or not, because then if you're insane, you can't stand trial.
Mm-hmm.
So Gacy underwent psychological evaluation, and he tried to convince doctors he was insane, and he had
Right.
multiple personalities. What are you doing with your hat?
But what?
Oh, your hat.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
Don't be weird, man.
So Gacy underwent psychological. He tried to convince doctors that he had multiple
They
personalities.
all do, man.
He claimed that he had 4 personalities: the hard-working, civic-minded contractor,
The good old American boy.
the
Good
clown,
doctor.
The
Yeah.
clown.
the politician, hey, and
The
Bad
serial
Jack.
murderer.
Mad Jack.
Bad Jack.
Bad Jack.
Yep.
That fucker.
And Bad Jack was the one that killed all the people.
Didn't Dean Corll try to do the same? No, it wasn't Dean Corll. It was somebody else that tried to do the
Ted
same.
Bundy did the same thing.
Yeah, a
He
lot
said-
of them did.
He claimed, oh yeah.
I mean, it's
There's-
hard to believe that multiple personality is like even real, let alone like super common, let alone real,
I was gonna
because
say,
of like
You can get away with that in plead insanity.
the only time you really like hear about like
I know.
only time you really hear about multiple personality disorder is when serial killers are brought up and trying
Yeah.
to like plead insanity.
Does that make me a murderer?
Do you have multiple personality disorder?
Yeah.
So you're multiple.
Freak, you're a
personality.
freak.
No, the multiple personality disorder. I don't know the way that they like the way serial killers use it is not the correct way to
Yeah,
use it.
I can tell you guys from literal personal experience, when you like lose touch of yourself,
When there's
it's not a concept of you have no idea what the other guy's fucking doing.
Yeah.
Like if you really had it and you knew, you know what the other one's doing.
They're
So
too-
that means he knows. Like let's say Bad Jack was real. You gotta turn yourself into the police because now you're just as liable. Because
Yeah.
let's say it's a different person. All right, cool. Now you're gonna accomplish the murder.
When Gacy confessed, he claimed that he was literally just like retelling the crimes of Jack, who hated homosexuals and viewed male prostitutes as weak, stupid, and degraded scum.
And stinky.
Yeah.
Oh.
3 psychiatric experts said he was a paranoid schizophrenic as well as being a psychopath. But during the trial, Gacy's defense argued that he wasn't fit to stand trial and that he was insane. The prosecution really hammered in that, like, Gacy is sane and he has absolutely no remorse for his actions. Because some of the murders were, I mean, premeditated. You know, especially with like the assaults. Especially because those people are his employees. You know what I'm saying? He knows the
he
victims.
sees them every day.
Yeah, he knows some of the victims. So Gacy's defense even tried to argue that the causes of death were not strangulation, but erotic asphyxiation, because they were like just having gay sex and they died, and Gacy got scared and covered it up.
33 times.
Yeah, the medical examiner said this was highly unlikely. Now, the trial goes on, and you know it's over. The jury deliberated for less than 2 hours and found Gacy guilty of all 33 murder charges. Actually, at the time, this was a record for the most murder charges one person had ever been convicted of at a time.
A trailblazer.
Wasn't
Yeah.
that only passed by the man that went into that McDonald's?
Well, he killed himself or got shot by the police, but he killed 40-something people. But I don't know. No, it's not. It's not like a record for the most murders. It's just like that he was convicted of. So Gacy was sentenced to death, and his execution was set for 1980. But because of our long appeals process, he sat on death row for 14 years. Yeah, on death row he became an avid painter and painted a bunch of paintings of clowns. You can find them on YouTube. Just Google them, or not YouTube. You can just Google it, and they're there. But after Gacy's, he like sold them for as little as $200 and as much as 20 grand.
Didn't he like? Isn't he the reason why like people couldn't like have like their own business outside of prison?
Yeah, like there's now a bunch of laws. I think it depends on the state, but there's a bunch of laws now where There's a bunch of laws now where prisoners cannot make money while in prison.
Right.
That's why you can't sell like a tell-all or anything like that.
Not while in prison.
Yeah.
But it depends on what state, I think. I don't think there's federal laws.
I think some states, and I really like this, is where if you sell something and they do allow you to make money, what they do is they actually put it away. So when you, like, let's say you're not on death row, you'll get out of prison like in 20 years. When you get out, they give you the money all at once.
Some prisoners will still sell stuff, but you're allowed to sell stuff if you give it to the families or charity. So, after Gacy's death, the families got some of his paintings and publicly like destroyed them. Yeah. On May 9th, 1994, Gacy got to eat his last meal, which consisted of a bucket of KFC, fried shrimp, fries, strawberries, and a Diet Coke.
It's really bad for his cholesterol.
He did that on purpose. He was trying to give himself a heart attack.
Wait,
Yeah.
I've heard that one.
Yeah, it's very famous.
I was watching a top 10 video. It was like top 10 like strangest last
Didn't
meals.
one of them have
It was like a shit ton of fried food.
Yeah.
And it was a pound of strawberries.
Yeah, it is a pound of strawberries. If I'm not mistaken, Gacy tried to give himself a heart attack so he would die before they could kill him.
What are strawberries for?
Maybe to raise his blood sugar. They have sugar in them. Yummers. A crowd of over 1,000 people gathered outside the prison, and they even wore T-shirts saying "No tears for the clown," like how they said "Burn Bundy, burn," or something like that. It was funny. So when they actually went to go execute Gacy, they have like IV tubes that feed the lethal injection.
Yeah.
But one of them was clogged, so it took 18 minutes to not to kill him, but to fix the clog because they have to obviously test it beforehand.
Yeah.
Imagine some guy in the crowd like, "Come on, my lunch break ends soon."
Gacy uttered his last words, which were reportedly. Now we don't. I heard something on this documentary that they might not be true, or some guy thought that it might be bullshit because it was like exaggerated just because of like the person that he was. But apparently his last words were "kiss my ass," and
that's fitting.
Yeah, so he was put to death at the age of 52. His brain was removed and given to someone who studies like psychopaths and serial killers. And as of today, only 28 of Gacy's victims were ever identified, and they're actually still trying to identify them.
Right.
I assume the ones that they not never mind. I was gonna say I assume the ones that they were able to identify were the ones that were buried in the house, but the one of them at least has to be from the river because the guy that owned the farm worked at the pharmacy was one of them.
Yeah, well, they identified all of the river victims, but apparently they never found one of the bodies he confessed to killing. He just said, "I threw someone in the river," because like at a certain point, Gacy just forgets the names, but he does remember a lot of them. And like I said, there's some of the stuff I was talking about. Like there's a John Wayne Gacy documentary on Netflix called The John Wayne Gacy Tapes. It's I think supposed to be like a successor to the Ted Bundy one, except it's actually good. So if you want to watch that, you can watch it on Netflix. But that concludes John Wayne Gacy and our two-parter.
And the world still shines a little bit brighter.
Yeah, the world does shine now that he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
What did you think of the case, Jamie?
I thought it was interesting. I knew a little bit about it. I watched House of a Thousand Corpses. It definitely has some similarities. It wasn't based 100% off it because it was only 33 and not 1,000.
Yeah.
But
I feel like you could have done better to match the movie.
Right. But no, it
Who's
was
Gacy or
From the grave?
It was definitely interesting. Just I knew bits and pieces, but to put the whole puzzle together was something interesting. Yeah.
What about you, Enos? What did you think of the case?
Oh, Bad Jack's coming out.
Fuck off.
The fucking look on his face.
No, it was fine. I feel like
It was fun.
there was a lot of things in
Wasn't too bad.
there, like in the story, that really like don't make too much sense to me.
Yeah.
Just as like, well, like how I mentioned earlier. I don't know if you're gonna keep it in or not. The part where I'm like, this man
even in like I get the police don't share with each other that much, but even then, like even in that same county that he's in, he had the cops called on him like 4 times for sexual assault or a suspect of murder.
The only explanation I can really give is that he's just a very powerful man. Like he met the not the vice president. He met the first lady. You know,
like charisma will get you everywhere.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
I mean Ted Bundy did the same thing.
I mean,
Plus,
I
he
say
talked with the police a lot.
Yeah.
So he could probably like just like
It
like
was-
they just biased. Like there's no way a guy like
Buddy-
guy like
Buddy
this could
with
do
the
that.
cops.
I mean,
Yeah.
I completely agree with that statement. All it takes is a good voice, and you'll have power.
Not a
Like,
good
think about
voice. It's not what you say; it's how you say it.
But yeah, I mean, you know, he's a powerful man, and I think that's like that and the culture probably where people just like didn't want to talk about like you know the people who were having gay sex with Gacy probably didn't want to have gay sex with Gacy. They didn't want to tell anybody.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly. So especially because of how the perks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Oh yeah, because if you get caught being gay in the 70s, 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s, you just got beaten.
yeah,
So a lot of these people
depending
were
on the
young.
place,
Some
I'd
people
say.
were still in high school. Most of them were still in high school.
yeah.
Like in the early 2000s, 90s, 80s, if you were gay, you got the shit beat out of you daily
Yeah.
until you either killed yourself or left the school.
So, yeah, I'm sure that's part of it. Plus, I mean, some of them, like especially his employees, where he'd like trade them sex for raises or like, you know, I'm sure for some people there are incentives like, oh, well, I really don't like this, but I am getting like more money.
Yeah.
So like, I'm afraid I might as well just shut my fucking mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
'cause
open
some
your
people,
mouth.
Oh,
like if we're being realistic, who knows how many people's relied on their job? Like I'm willing to bet
Exactly.
it wasn't just you give me sex, I'll give you something extra.
Yeah, you
I'm
might be
willing to bet there were
fired.
tons
These are
of
really
time. Yeah,
people's
like,
yeah,
livelihoods.
exactly.
like some of those people had families, and you
Yeah.
probably go to them
Like,
either
even-
you're gonna suck my dick,
One of his
or I'm gonna fire you and I'm gonna write a report about you.
Or
so
like
anyone calls.
even going from like a busy bee to a manager, that's a large jump in money. That could change a lot of
Yeah.
lives.
Because in
Yeah.
the 80s, like, besides, like, tape recorders, it was damn near impossible to get your boss
Yeah.
caught in the act
Exactly.
of sexual harassment.
and even then you'd have to get the police, which already don't give a shit.
And they
Yeah,
really
you-
didn't really care about
Not
like
to
things
mention,
like this.
it's not like a man and a woman. It's homosexual.
Yeah.
So even then, they're just
Plus,
gonna be like,
there's also a man's pride at stake. And that's a very toxic trait that carried heavily in those times where it's like, I gotta go to the police because my butthole got touched. Like, a
Yeah.
man would rather die than have that news be out at that
We
time.
saw that with fucking Dahmer, where like, you know, his last victim just wanted to get out of the handcuffs, and he
Yeah.
called the cops because he wanted to get out of his handcuffs. Literally, he was like, I don't want to report the gay shit. That he literally got like
They'd
raped.
rather just try
Yeah.
to forget.
Yeah,
And that's really like that's why the whole Me Too movement like even came out even for women. A lot of women would just keep it to themselves, let it build up, and then people realized this was a problem. These women were killing themselves.
Exactly. I was gonna say-
becoming abusive. So they made the movement where people could anonymously give out hints to the police, like, "Hey, this man raped me," and then and only then once he was arrested, you could come out and go to trial and stuff. Because
Yeah.
even if you're not, even if you're
it's the peace of mind of he can't hurt me anymore.
so now
yeah.
I can talk.
yeah, and he can't hurt anybody else.
And even then, like sometimes it's really mentally like you can see him wrapped in chains,
Yeah.
guns aimed at his head. If he blinks the wrong way, he'll get shot, and the woman will be still too scared.
It
to
brings
see
back all that.
The
trauma
trauma.
memories.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he put you in a position where you think he can do anything to you and nothing
He
can stop
stripped
it.
you of your humanity
Yeah.
and did what he needed.
Yeah, but that was John Wayne Gacy, and I know this case. I mean, it's fucked up.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
all I can really say. To sum it up, it's fucked up, but at least he's fucking dead. Because
We
like,
went to middle school together.
damn.
We were in Chesapeake.
And
But-
I know we like kind of like made light of this story a lot, like especially during the first episode.
Yeah,
But I just want to like put a little like I want to say this, especially for the first episode.
Disclaimer.
At this time, especially like he didn't really kill anybody yet, as we know
Well,
of.
yeah.
So like we kind of we did humanize him a little bit.
No,
But,
he,
like,
he was
it's
a
like-
piece of fucking shit.
Oh, for sure he was. Like we're not justifying anything he said in any type of way. Like
Except
he
me.
got what
Yeah.
he deserved,
Yeah.
right?
with I'd say
Like-
with. Oh, go ahead, Gus.
Yeah, I just wanted to say like we only like kind of like gave him that humanization. It's because like we were thinking in the context before he did anything, like we're kind of like putting ourselves back. Like at least me, I was putting myself back
Yeah.
in that place. Is he really could have done a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
But obviously what he did is completely unacceptable. We do not
Yeah.
agree or like
We do not
side with him
condone.
in any like
I was
way, shape,
gonna
or form.
Don't be
The
a
only-
naughty boy. Don't do murder.
You know, the only reason we do this podcast how it is like with jokes and stuff is we're making fun of the serial killer because they're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
And like we're
yeah,
making
who the fuck gets caught, dumbass?
Well, to be fair,
No.
we did. Me and Jamie were ripping on that girl. At the
Yeah, but that's not a victim. You know what I mean? That's like a person. Well, I mean, her
no,
friend.
that's
is
just
dead,
the
but, like, whatever.
incel in us coming
I was
out.
gonna say we only really rip on the murderer and call them
Mhm.
fucking dumbasses and say stupid shit. You know, we never make fun of the victims.
Right.
Yeah.
So
What?
and then because they deserve it.
I was gonna say, did the police come knocking on your last video? What the fuck happened?
No, wait, we didn't.
You gotta
even
make
know.
a disclaimer this time,
No,
guys.
it's because I feel
No, I
like
just
we
wanted to
did
point it
go
out,
a
yeah.
little too
No,
far with a couple jokes.
I was just gonna say, you know, it's-
there is
And
nothing.
plus, we did like humanize him a little bit in the first episode.
Yeah, it's only
Yeah.
it's always like fuck him. We're making fun of them. We're not like
Right.
saying, oh my god, what a fucking great person,
Like,
John.
I-
Right.
Wayne."
It's like
Fuck
he
him.
really like could have done good things.
Yeah.
He had
He
like
could have, but
he had the connections and like the ability.
I made sure in part 1 to let it be known that none of this, I believe, is his father's fault because his dad was average.
yeah, you can't.
You can't blame one person
Exactly.
like, for this. Like
There's a lot of people that would be out here like, oh, his father
Plus,
abused
it's
him. Like,
not-
nah, he gave him a slap on the
It's
wrist
not
every
his
once in a while.
dad's. It's not his dad's fault. Gacy decided to murder people.
Exactly.
right.
You know what I mean? Gacy could have just realized. Gacy could have been better than his
Yeah.
father, or
Mhm.
even if he thought his father was a monster,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
It's
he really
just-
didn't.
Yeah, it's just nowadays people are like,
Mhm.
don't discipline your kids. They'll grow up violent.
I think
I'm
it's
like,
because people look for a reason
Mm-hmm.
just to
when
get
it,
other
when it should
people's
just be like
business.
people are like some people are just fucked up and have an urge to kill people.
Yeah.
Whereas like you can't just blame it on his dad abusing him.
Right.
Like,
Because
did
there
his-
are people that came from like good homes that still decided to like
Yeah.
be serial killers.
Yeah.
like did his dad give him a hard fucking life? I mean,
Mhm.
a little
he gave
bit.
him
Yeah.
a tough life,
He
but
had-
it wasn't
yeah.
something impossible.
It wasn't
Exactly.
He didn't
unordinary
want-
either.
At the time, everything his father did was really normal. He
Yeah.
didn't want his son to grow up feminine.
Does it
Obviously,
make it
wasn't.
good?
It
No.
It wasn't
Breaking the
acceptable.
car's
Obviously.
engine.
Like it doesn't make it good now, but
Right.
like
Obviously, it
I'm just
wasn't
talking about, like, at the
acceptable to
time.
raise him that way, but
Yeah.
it's definitely not the cause.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the
Exactly.
time. There were millions of kids that had billions of kids that had the exact same father,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, I love
they had
open for
and
close
they
fist.
Close fist.
and they grew up like perfectly fine.
Exactly.
Now that's not to say that that makes it okay, but
No.
you can't put the blame on the father.
Exactly.
Sure, maybe his father didn't make it any better. I believe there's a couple. Maybe his father did influence him to be more outgoing with violence.
But
Yeah.
people
but
like
that's
Gacy,
definitely not the
people
reason.
like Gacy can't be saved.
No. They
Can't.
psychopaths and like obviously you're innocent until you commit a crime, but those people have something wrong with them mentally where it's like
Yeah.
you need to be helped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are resources to help
Can't
people
blame
like that.
the acts of the child for the sins of the father.
Exactly.
Did we ever find out like how he treated his kids?
I'm
didn't
pretty sure
have
he
them
wasn't
long
because she
enough.
got full custody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't
once
have,
they got
and he,
divorced.
he never saw them again his
How
entire
old
life.
were the kids?
Like babies, I thought.
If they're
Two
babies.
or one was I think one was probably 3 or 4 and one was 2 or 3.
And the other one, his stepdaughter, he was only in her life for like 3 years.
Yes.
I'm thinking now, like, what happened to those kids? Like, did they grow up and they're like, ain't that my, like, their mom's like, no, that's not your dad, no.
Yeah.
Like, the mom probably lied. No, because actually, when did he divorce his first wife? It was like in the
69.
60s. 69.
I think so.
And when did he die?
80.
90.
No, 90. Yeah.
So those kids are like in their
He got
teen
caught.
years.
94.
So these kids are like 16, 17 older.
Yeah,
So
they're
they've
adults
been-
by the time he's dead.
So
though.
Yeah.
so I'm thinking like
I was gonna say.
before his crimes came out,
Imagine
they
having.
probably knew like, oh, your dad's name was Ted Bundy, and then they find out on the news Ted Bundy has now just been arrested.
I was
for
gonna say,
murder.
imagine trying to like, you're in your 20s and you're like, all right, I want to see who my real dad is, and you find out all this shit
Yeah, it's fucked up.
that you were living with him in
Yeah.
the same that would fuck me up.
I think that would hurt
Yeah.
the mom more than anything because she
Oh,
put
yeah.
her babies in the care of that man occasionally.
Yeah.
But to be fair, at that time, I forgot. Like, I really forgot already what he did at that time. What was it?
He assaulted a 15-year-old.
Well, what you mean crimes or his
The bad things he did during that time.
his
that got
first
It was
murder?
assault
in his
and,
first
uh,
murder, he assaulted and he raped basically one kid, assaulted the other.
Yeah. I need to stand up, man.
All
Bro,
right.
I feel like, dude, I feel bad if you have to like cut some parts because I feel like there's gonna be random times where I'm sitting like this.
I don't
Because I've
know.
been like fidgeting nonstop.
It depends on what
Just
I
to
don't
see
know.
me teleporting around the couch.
Anyways, let's just end it.
I was
Jamie,
gonna
you have
say,
anything to
let's
say?
wrap up.
We already did this.
No, we didn't.
No, I said your thoughts. Anything to say before we get off?
Any closing words?
Tune in next time for when we ISIS behead Gus.
Not gonna happen. I need him.
Stay
He
bodacious.
still owes me.
What about you, Eunice?
Discipline your kids, but make sure you talk to them too.
With a closed fist.
I love calm.
This is not a confession. Stay bodacious, guys.
Stay bodacious.
I killed
See you later,
multiple
bitches.
people.
This-